Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we are going to improve our English with another exciting story. This story is written in very easy English, so you can improve your listening, vocabulary, and speaking at the same time. The title of today's story is, I Went to the Airport. At first, it seems like an ordinary day. But one unexpected message changes everything. A simple trip to the airport soon becomes a mystery that Anna will never forget. Are you ready? Let's begin. My name is Anna, and I will never forget the day I went to the airport. It was a rainy Saturday morning. I woke up later than usual because I had no plans. I made a cup of hot coffee, opened the curtains, and looked outside. The streets were wet, and dark clouds covered the sky. Just as I sat down to read a book, my phone suddenly rang. It was not a call. It was a message from my best friend, Maya. The message said, "Anna, please come to the airport. I really need you. Terminal 3, please hurry." That was all. There was no explanation. No reason. No second message. I immediately called Maya. Her phone was switched off. I tried again. Still nothing. A strange feeling filled my heart. Maya never ignored my calls. Something was wrong. I looked at the time. It was already 10 o'clock. If I left immediately, I could reach the airport before noon. Without wasting another minute, I changed my clothes, picked up my backpack, and grabbed my umbrella. My mother looked at me with surprise. "Where are you going in this weather?" she asked. "I have to go to the airport," I replied. "Maya needs my help." My mother looked worried. "Be careful," she said softly. "I will," I answered. Outside, the cold wind blew across the empty street. Rain fell gently onto the road. The bus arrived a few minutes later. It was crowded. Many people were carrying suitcases. Some looked excited. Others looked tired. I stood near the window and watched the city pass by. The closer we got to the airport, the faster my heart beat. I kept thinking about Maya. Why was her phone off? Why did she sound so desperate? After almost an hour, the bus finally stopped. The airport stood in front of me like a giant glass building. People were entering and leaving from every direction. Large electronic screens showed flights from all over the world. Children laughed. Announcements echoed through the halls. Suitcases rolled across the shiny floor. Everything looked normal. But somehow I felt nervous. I checked the message again. Terminal 3. I followed the signs until I finally reached it. I looked everywhere. Near the entrance. Near the coffee shop. Near the waiting area. But Maya was nowhere. I waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Then 20. Still nothing. I tried calling again. Her phone was still off. I began to worry. Maybe something had happened before she arrived. Maybe she had already left. Or maybe... I stopped myself from thinking too much. Just then, I noticed someone sitting alone on a bench. She looked about my age. She held a small suitcase tightly. Her head was down, and tears slowly rolled down her face. People walked past her, but nobody stopped. For a moment, I thought about walking away. After all, I was there for Maya. But something inside me said, "Go and ask if she is okay." I walked over slowly. "Excuse me," I said kindly. "Are you all right?" The young woman looked up. Her eyes were red from crying. She forced a small smile. "Not really," she answered quietly. "My name is Anna." "I'm Sarah," she replied. "What happened?" I asked. Sarah took a deep breath. "I missed my flight. I came here to visit my father. But my train was delayed. By the time I arrived, the plane had already left." She looked completely exhausted. "I don't know what to do now." I opened my backpack and gave her a bottle of water. "Here," I said. "You need this." She smiled warmly. "Thank you. You didn't have to help me." "I wanted to," I answered. We talked for several minutes. Sarah told me she had never visited this city before. She felt completely alone. I listened carefully. Sometimes people don't need answers. They only need someone who listens. Suddenly, my phone rang. This time it was Maya. I answered immediately. "Maya, where are you?" Her voice sounded frightened. "Anna, where are you?" "I'm waiting for you at Terminal 3, I said. There was complete silence. Then Maya suddenly shouted, "Oh no! I made a mistake. I meant Terminal 2. I've been waiting there all this time. I thought you weren't coming." I closed my eyes for a second. I couldn't believe it. "You wrote Terminal 3. "I know," Maya said quickly. "I was nervous. I typed the wrong number. Please come fast. There is something very strange happening." "What happened?" I asked. "I'll explain when you get here. But please hurry." Before I could ask another question, the call ended. I looked at Sarah. "I'm sorry," I said. "My friend really needs me." Sarah smiled. "It's okay. Thank you for staying with me. You made me feel much better. I'm sure everything will be all right." "I hope so," I replied. I picked up my backpack and hurried toward Terminal 2. The airport felt even bigger now. People rushed past me from every direction. My footsteps echoed across the floor. As I walked through a long hallway, I suddenly had the strange feeling that someone was watching me. I slowly turned around. A man wearing a black cap stood near one of the large glass windows. He wasn't looking at the planes. He was looking at me. The moment our eyes met, he turned away and disappeared into the crowd. For a second, I stood completely still. Maybe it was just my imagination. Or maybe it was the beginning of something much more dangerous. I stood in the middle of the hallway for a few seconds. The man in the black cap had disappeared. Maybe it was only my imagination. Or maybe someone really was watching me. I took a deep breath and continued walking toward Terminal 2. A few minutes later, I finally saw Maya. She was sitting alone near a coffee shop. Her suitcase was beside her, and she looked frightened. When she saw me, she stood up quickly and ran toward me. "Anna." She hugged me tightly. I was so scared. "It's okay," I said softly. "I'm here now." I looked at her face. She looked tired. Her hands were shaking. "What happened?" I asked. Maya looked around before answering. "I think someone has been following me." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She spoke in a quiet voice. On the bus, a man kept looking at me. When I got off, he also got off. I walked faster. He walked faster too. I came into the airport, but after a few minutes, I saw him again near the coffee shop. She pointed toward the entrance. He was standing over there. I slowly looked in that direction. There were many people. Families. Business travelers. Airport workers. But then, I saw him. The same black cap. The same brown coat. The same serious face. It was the man I had seen only a few minutes earlier. A cold feeling ran through my body. Maya, I whispered. I saw him too. Before we could move, the man looked in our direction. For a moment, our eyes met. Then he calmly turned around and disappeared into the crowd again. Neither of us spoke. The silence felt heavy. Finally, I said, "We should tell airport security." Maya nodded. Together, we walked to the information desk. A security officer listened carefully while we explained everything. He asked several questions. What does he look like? Did he speak to you? Did he touch you? We answered every question honestly. The officer nodded. We will check the security cameras. Please stay inside the airport until we know more. His calm voice made us feel a little safer. We sat near a large window overlooking the runway. Planes landed one after another. People smiled as they met their families. Everything around us looked peaceful. But inside, both of us were nervous. After about 20 minutes, Maya looked at me. I think we're overreacting. Maybe he was just another traveler. Before I could answer, my phone vibrated. It was an unknown number. I answered carefully. Hello. Nobody spoke. I could only hear breathing. Slow, quiet breathing. Hello. Still no answer. Then, the call ended. I stared at my phone. Maya looked worried. Who was it? I don't know. We both felt uneasy again. A few minutes later, the security officer returned. We checked several cameras, he said. The man appeared in different areas of the airport. He wasn't waiting for a flight. He seemed to be watching someone. Was it Maya? I asked. We're not completely sure. But we'd like both of you to leave through another exit, just to be safe. We agreed immediately. The officer walked with us through a quiet hallway that very few passengers used. Outside, the rain had become heavier. The officer stopped a taxi. You'll be safer this way, he said. We thanked him and got inside. As the taxi began moving, I looked through the back window. At first, I saw only rain. Then, a black car slowly pulled out of the airport parking lot. It stayed several cars behind us. Maybe it was only another taxi. Maybe not. 10 minutes passed. The black car was still behind us. Maya, I whispered. Don't look now. But I think someone is following us. She slowly turned her head. The color disappeared from her face. It's the same car. My heartbeat became faster. I leaned toward the driver. Excuse me. Can you change the route? The driver looked surprised. Is something wrong? I think another car is following us. He looked into his mirror. Then he nodded. I understand. Instead of driving toward our neighborhood, he turned toward the busy city center. The streets became crowded. Cars stopped at traffic lights. People crossed the roads with umbrellas. The black car stayed behind us. Now I was sure. This was not an accident. The driver finally stopped in front of a large shopping mall. There are security guards inside, he said. You'll be safe there. We quickly thanked him and hurried inside. The mall was bright and crowded. Music played through the speakers. Children laughed. People carried shopping bags. For the first time all day, I thought we were finally safe. Then Maya grabbed my arm. On it. I turned around. The man in the brown coat had just entered the mall. He was walking slowly. Not running. Not hiding. Just watching us. Every step he took made my heart beat faster. We need security, I whispered. We hurried toward the customer service desk. A security guard immediately noticed our frightened faces. Can I help you? He asked. That man. I pointed behind us. He's been following us since the airport. The guard looked serious. He immediately called another guard. Together they walked toward the man. The man stopped walking. One guard spoke politely. Sir, we'd like to ask you a few questions. The man smiled. I think there's been a misunderstanding. We've never met. But before he could finish speaking, another security officer arrived carrying a small tablet. He had just received information from the airport security team. He looked directly at the man. Then he said quietly, Sir, we need you to come with us. The man's smile disappeared. For 1 second, he looked straight at Maya. Then he suddenly turned around and started running. The security guards immediately chased him. People moved out of the way as he disappeared into the crowd. Maya grabbed my arm tightly. Anna, what's happening? I don't know, I whispered. We stood there, watching the guards run after him. A few seconds later, one of the guards stopped suddenly. He bent down and picked up something from the floor. It was a small black envelope. The guard looked at it carefully. There was only one word written on the front. Maya. Everyone became silent. The guard slowly handed the envelope to the police officer. The officer looked at Maya. His expression changed immediately. He took a deep breath. Then he said, I don't think this is just a misunderstanding anymore. He carefully opened the envelope. As soon as he looked at what was inside, his face turned completely serious. I couldn't see the paper. Maya couldn't see it either. The officer slowly folded it again, looked directly at us, and said, Both of you need to come with us right now. I looked at Maya. She looked back at me. Neither of us said a single word, because deep inside, we both knew this was only the beginning. To be continued.